Long story short, I've been married to my wife for 11 years. We have 2 kids, aged 11 and 9. She cheated for 8 months, and I knew about it for the last 3. I didn't confront her until I had evidence lined up, including video, and a separation agreement in hand from a solid lawyer. This was about 9 months ago. I guess it would be called D-Day here. I waited for her to get home from her affair partner, App. She had no idea that I knew anything. The second she saw me sitting at the table, she got very nervous. I asked her to sit down because we needed to talk. I was totally cried out at this point and didn't really care. I had decided that divorce was the only option the day I first found out. My wife sits down looking very panicked. She said, "You're scaring me. What is this about?" I then said, "I'm not here to discuss your infidelity. I know everything. I'm here to sort out our separation and divorce." I put my wedding ring on top of the folder with the separation agreement inside and pushed it in front of her. My wife starts bawling, begging, apologizing, pleading. All the usual stuff. We get nowhere. I just toss whatever she comes up with back in her face and says I love you. I then told her, "You hurt me the worst I have ever been hurt and sleep with other men because you love me so much?" After a couple of hours, I told her to go to a hotel and that we will continue tomorrow. I tell her if she doesn't sign the separation agreement, I will tell everyone today what she has been doing. I know it's signed under duress, but at the time, I just wanted it to end. She ends up signing, she leaves, and I receive messages and calls all night. I answer occasionally in one-word responses. Mainly, "I will not read this message or talk to you until tomorrow afternoon." The next day, the severity of the situation sunk in with her. She begs for another chance, marriage counseling, MC, etc., saying she will do anything. I informed her that I would file on Monday and that she had 90 days to convince me that divorce is a mistake. I don't know why I offered that. I was weak. I had decided to end it and I just folded. The next day, I had prepared a list of things she had to do. I didn't show it to her. I just told her the list existed and unless she abided by it, we would be no contact, NC, apart from the kids, and the divorce would be unstoppable. I would inform everyone of what she had been doing. I also informed her that even perfect compliance was no guarantee that we would not divorce. My trust in her at this point was below zero, and I didn't even love her anymore. She killed what we had, and the only reason I considered reconciling and building something new was for our kids. I didn't mean to say this. Again, I couldn't follow through on what I had decided to do. The list consisted of the following: no lies. She had to make a document of everything she had done with him, describe how it started, what in her mind gave her the right to do this to me and our children. If she cut corners, rose-tinted anything, or omitted anything, all efforts on my part would be over. Full access to all social media, phones, computer, her salary, and bank statements. She would report where she is and what she does at all times. Individual counseling, IC, for her 2 to 3 times a week until she could understand her own choices. Only later, MC. She agreed, made the list, and gave me access. Then I told her about points 5, 6, 7 in sequence, only after she carried out each task. She had to meet App's wife face to face and tell her everything, hand over all the evidence she had, and offer to be a witness in court if needed. She refused at first. She managed to say she couldn't do that to him. I pointed out that she made a choice, App's feelings over her own family. If she didn't do this, the reconciliation attempt was over. I was going to tell App's wife if she didn't. If she wouldn't own this, there was no willingness from my end. If I had to tell her, there would be no chance of ever reconciling. In the end, she agreed and actually told App's wife everything. App's wife slapped her, kicked her, pulled her hair, and screamed at her. My wife took it and didn't fight back. I didn't protect her. She got some gashes and some bald spots. In the car afterward, I informed her that App had been seeing another woman in addition to my wife and showed her the evidence from the pie I hired. I am ashamed of how much I enjoyed watching her pain when she realized she was just another piece of meat to this guy. She had to explain herself to the kids and what the likely outcome for our family would be. Explain what she had done to everyone in our family and our friends. I would have an affair for 3 months. I would lie to her face, sneak around behind her back, form a deep emotional relationship with another woman. I needed her to understand what she asked me to forgive, the humiliation, the pain. She would understand that we risked me falling in love and leaving her for my App. At the end of the 3 months, I would tell her everything truthfully. Number 7 was especially hard on both of us. I would sneak around and act like I was cheating. I had Tinder installed. I would make sure she got glimpses of it every now and again. I would pretend I was secretly texting. I would go out and be gone all night. I would go away for weekends. In reality, I wasn't seeing anyone. I just stayed in hotels, rented cabins, and Airbnbs. I would just get drunk most of the time and cry. My wife was freaking out more and more. I felt terrible as well. I hated it. I could barely do it, and I was only pretending. She did it with such ease. I think this is the hardest part for me. I can't see her in the same light. I wanted to show her what she asked me to forgive, but instead, I learned what a horrible person you have to be to do this to someone else. We are now in MC, and she is making progress, me not so much. Some days are worse than others, I guess. For now, I keep the divorce papers ready. For some reason, I have not pulled the trigger. I'm not entirely sure why. We haven't been intimate or very close, but we are not fighting anymore, so I guess that is progress. She is very apologetic. I know we have a long way to go. Who knows where we will end up? I can't get past how terrible I felt when I pretended, yet she did it with ease. I just can't see her in a positive light. I see her as a monster. I wish I had ended it the first day, but now that I have dragged us both so far along. Is there any way for me to move past seeing her like this? I have forgiven the rest. I just can't get past this. My wife and I have been up all night after I showed her the post yesterday. Here is an update along with some comments and reflections. We know our chances of success are very low and that it will probably take many years before we are past the worst of it. But we both agreed this morning that we are committed to trying. She was absolutely devastated by some of the things I said and many of the comments. Still, in the end, we managed to have a real conversation, even though we don't always succeed with that. To everyone who spoke to me in absolutes, it's a totally different thing to be in the middle of something like this compared to looking at it from the outside. Nothing is clear or easy. Emotions are overwhelming, and even deciding to get up in the morning, to face a new day, is almost impossible. If I were to try to explain how hard it is to think clearly and make good choices, I would give you this analogy. Imagine you are living your life, you are on top of the mountain, you can see the horizon in all directions, and you have no doubts. Your mind and thoughts are clear. You know who you are, what you want, and where you want to go. Then imagine being yanked from the top of the mountain, stuffed in a dark, sealed coffin, and spun around so fast that all your blood rushes down to your legs. You are almost passing out, you can barely think, you are getting nauseous and dizzy, and you want to throw up more than anything. This is the closest I can get to explaining the trauma my brain experienced. Of course, I will make some bad choices in such a state. I think everyone would make bad choices in this state. To those who were telling us we are hurting our children, we don't think so. We talk to our kids, and they are very grateful that we have told them and kept them involved in our efforts. As my youngest put it, it's my family too. They have more faith in us than we have, and they are grateful that we ask for their advice and opinions. We have been very careful to let them know we will not accept them choosing sides. We have also been very clear that none of this is their responsibility or fault. They have told us they like being involved and helping us together and as individuals. They will dish out encouraging words and extra hugs when they feel we need it. They accept that this might not be possible to fix, but they have told us that they will be disappointed if we give up without trying properly. The first few months were very stressful, but after things calm down, they are very grateful for being allowed to be involved. Some of their friends are in situations where their families are breaking up, and their friends feel like they are mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed crap. So our kids are better off than us, it seems. And I just hope we don't disappoint them too much. To those who thought I was psychotic and wondered how I could be so hard and torture my wife while offering reconciliation, to be clear, on D-Day, I had no intention of offering anything. I was determined to just end it as soon as possible. I was still determined to do so when she came back the next day when she offered to do anything and begged me to give her a chance. At that point, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave her. I felt weak, I was ashamed of myself, I was angry, and I wanted her to suffer. But deep down, I still loved her, I just couldn't admit it or end it. I took some thinking time, made the list, and made my demands. I never, in my wildest dreams, expected her to agree to the toughest terms. I did not expect her to tell the app's wife, I did not expect her to tell our kids, families, and friends, and I definitely didn't expect her to stand by me in my pretend revenge affair. Truth be told, I wanted her to give up, but I also wanted her to suffer. I was convinced that her suffering would make me feel better. It didn't. As she did everything I asked, I could no longer deny that she was being sincere, that she wanted to work things out, that she was regretful for what she had done. Have been searching for some reason to give up and leave or to make her give up and leave. I have been incredibly cruel at times. I have vented my fury at her, and I am a terrifying guy. She has just taken it. She doesn't try to excuse herself, she just takes it. She told me she has never been afraid of me. I am not sure I believe that. She tells me she knows I would never physically attack or hurt her. I am not so sure of myself, I have been pretty close a few times. I hope I never, ever pass that line. I am terrified I might permanently injure or kill someone. To those who asked about her reasons for doing it, we have sort of concluded that she felt stagnant and trapped. Our life was too safe and comfortable. It hit her hard after her best friend died, and she was vulnerable to a snake charmer who knew exactly what type of bull smoke to blow up her arse. She feels con now and struggles badly with reconciling her choices with the person she believed herself to be. We have learned that this was a pattern with her app. He had been cheating on his wife with 2 to 3 women at the time since before they started dating. We even found out he has 2 illegitimate sons. As for me, I had not really committed to reconciliation fully. I am a very hard person, I can take and dole it out. I managed to convince myself that if my wife suffered, I would be okay with just walking away if I found a good enough reason to give up. I was wrong. I have been searching for reasons to not get close to her again. I was, and I still am, deeply wounded. I was scared of letting her get close and getting hurt again. This has prevented us from making any real progress in reconciling. She has been the only one totally committed. Several people ask me if I am just as good at giving out love as I am at punishment, and the answer to that is no. Booty, I'm working on it now. I have forgiven her, but I have kept her distant while trying to find a reason strong enough to overcome my love for her so I could leave. I will change that and make a real, genuine effort to reconcile. If we fail, we fail, but I will give it my very best try from here on in. Even if I risk getting hurt again. A lot of people condemned my wife. Some people pointed out that she is just human and made some bad choices. As things are now, I am in charge of the consequences for her bad choices. It's not a role I want. I have thought about this a lot. I also make mistakes. I act irrationally, and I am very cruel to her at times. Me punishing her has driven me literally mad with hatred and anger. Sometimes I have no control over it. She made some bad choices and lost control, as I am still doing. We are just human, both of us. I need to work on ways to move past this together. I will get off my high horse and try to be 50% of this relationship and to be 50% of the effort trying to work it out. As for my wife, the day after D-Day, she had accepted that I was dead serious. There was nowhere to hide, no forgiveness, nothing. She knew that her chances to save her family were slim at best, but she would do anything to try. It's clear now that she never actually loved the app. She loved the thrill, the fantasy. She told me she is grateful for my ironclad, rock-hard approach. It ripped her out of the affair fog, smacked some sense into her, and got her focused front and center on what was important. She also felt that her punishment was justified, and it helped her not hate herself as much. She has thanked me so much for not letting her off the hook and pushing through. She is punishing herself harder than I ever did. She has contemplated ending herself even, but she didn't do it at the time because she felt she would get off too easily. I found out that she has been harming herself since D-Day. She has beaten herself, pinched herself with pliers. I mean, the entire backside of her leg is shades of purple. It's one continuous black mark. This is, of course, not helpful. We have agreed to focus on her forgiving herself. We cannot heal unless that happens. In a way, it's strange. Now that she just wants to punish herself, she has lost all the traits that I fell in love with in the first place. Her humor, smile, well thought out opinions, self-esteem, her loving patience, etc. I don't think it's helpful for me redeveloping any feelings towards her when her punishing herself suppresses the very things I loved about her. The reasons I got together with her and married her in the first place. So, all in all, we have made some progress, thanks to all the helpful strangers on the internet. We have a long way to go, but we have identified some big hurdles to get past. We actually slept in the same bed for the first time since D-Day, so there is that. It was nice to sleep next to her again. I still love her, and I kind of hate myself for it, but then I think about my kids and it gives me strength to keep at it. We will try to create something new since the old relationship is gone at this point. After D-Day, I put my wife through hell and became her personal mental torturer for 9 months until I snapped out of it not too long ago. I was looking for any excuse during all those months to not fully commit to reconciliation. My wife was the only one who put in 100% after D-Day. I still loved her and couldn't leave, but my perceived self-respect and my idea of who I was prevented me from accepting that. I tried so many ways to convince myself that the only right thing to do was to leave her, but I just couldn't. My cruelty, on top of her infidelity, caused great damage to both of us emotionally. I finally came to my senses and understood what I needed to do to start healing both of us. I realized where I was weak and needed to improve. I know our chances are low, but now I'm afraid I have caused too much damage to get past. My wife feels that she doesn't deserve love and consideration whenever I do something for her, like leaving her flowers from the garden or love notes to show my appreciation. She usually ends up crying. The last few weeks we have made a lot of progress, and things on the surface seem to be improving. But today, I found my wife hiding and crying alone. She was appreciative and smiling in the morning. I made her breakfast in bed, but I found her crying after that. It just took all my motivation away, like popping a balloon. I feel totally empty, like all our efforts are for nothing. I don't feel anything other than exhausted and empty. Totally empty. Now I am in bed, and I don't even know how to get back up. I don't know how to find any energy to get moving, to try again. I can't even interact with my children properly. I just feel empty. So, we are separated. We were doing well on reconciliation. My wife did pretty much everything right from her end. She struggles with forgiving herself. Basically, she hates her own guts. On the other hand, I managed to suppress my feelings for a while. And this is the problem. Right under the surface, my feelings were still boiling. Emasculation, betrayal, lies, humiliation, anger. All boiling right under the surface. As a result, I reverted back to being mean, vindictive, and angry. And I don't want to be that guy anymore. So, we have separated to get some space. We will try to get back to trying reconciliation later for the sake of the kids. So that's the status. Sometimes it's not possible to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. I am not hopeful that we will make it in the end. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Ex-wife make a promise that we live an entire future together, but she cheated on me, so I ghosted her and lived my best life. Hi, first time post here after seeing many posts and thought maybe this is where I 31M would share my story. Been with my soon to be ex-wife 28F for 7 years, married for 5. Due to our job specialties we never planned to have kids, but we did have lots of great plans for future, and we never disagree on any future blueprints or direction we wanted to go during 7 years of our relationship. She started with her new job this February and she met this coworker, 38M. From the job, she came back home after 2 weeks of in-doc training and I found out she started chatting a lot with this guy. I was never a jealous person and I know that she has always been surrounded with guys due to our job situation. Majority of workers in our industry are males. I never questioned her loyalty or boundaries because I trusted her. But I realized she started texting with this person a lot, and I brought it up 2 times in March. She kept reassuring me that's the guy I don't have to worry about. He's just her friend that happens to be. They have lots of common topic to chat about. They're both Christians, so they talked a lot about Bible. I'm not religious. She said she has no problem to stop talking to this guy again if I don't feel comfortable. But I knew they were going to training again in end of March. I knew it's impossible, so I didn't stop her. I asked her if she's happy in this marriage, or even before this event I would constantly check on her to see if there's anything I could improve or just see if she's doing okay in this marriage. I never got any kind of negative feedback. Even up to mid-March she was still saying I'm the best thing happened in her life. Fast forward to end of March, she was leaving to somewhere else for her job training for her new job again for a month. In first couple days she was in training, everything was fine and the interactions between us was normal. After first week we started fighting a lot. Part of me, I have to admit, it was my fault cause I was going through some of the stuff in my life and I was being pretty emotional. But I also started feeling like she started becoming distant and having some strange ideas about future that doesn't even sound like things she would say, and it makes me started feeling weird. And we barely argue over anything. I can't even remember when was our last really big fight. Was before April. I felt bad for having to argue with her over things during her training because I know how important it was for her, but mainly we were fighting over she didn't really keep the boundary between her and the guy, and I knew for the fact that he was pursuing her. Finally she brought up that she needs some space and time to think about our relationship and future, and she told me she still loves me but it's not the same anymore. I was in lots of confusion, but I respected her and gave her some time cause at the moment I didn't really know what's going on. Shortly after couple days she brought up divorce over FaceTime. My world collapsed, and at that moment I still had no idea what was going on, but I had a gut feeling she might be leaving with the person. Finally she comes back home in mid-May. I went to airport picking her up. When I saw her I immediately knew that she's not the person I knew. She wouldn't even give me a hug at the airport after a month and a half not seeing each other. She came home and didn't even unpack her luggage. The first night she came home she looked into my eyes and straight told me she wants out. She wants divorce and she doesn't love me anymore. That first night was hard and I was hurt so much, but I was holding on the hope maybe I disappointed her during my emotional waves and our arguments, so I was trying to sort things out. The next day suddenly becomes a different person. She claimed that she wants to clean the house for me and let's create a nice memory for the last couple days before she leaves. I knew it sounded weird and I felt she was lying about lots of stuff and holding back from me, so I went through her phone for the first time in 7 years. I found out before she came back she was already in relationship, signed the lease with the guy to move in together. At this moment it was only a month and a half from she left home in the end of March. And she said to the guy she's willing to give up everything for him to start all over again. I feel really bad till this day to go over her phone because I have never done such a thing in our relationship and I felt that I have crossed the line. But at the moment I decided to take screenshots of their conversations and pretended nothing happened just to see how far she would push for all these lies she had to me. The rest of the days I kept asking her questions related to her and this person, and of course I never got any truthful answers. So that night when we were talking, finally I got irritated enough. I started questioning her and got mad. She started blaming me on my issues and that's why we can never be together. She is as lying until very last moment. Even we were having some heated arguments. She then decided to leave that night, and the first thing after she left I sent her all the screenshots I had and told I already knew everything. It was just I was really trying to see how far she would push this thing. She said they only started their relationship after she brought up divorce, so it's not cheating. She also told me she has been wanting out for longest time, just waiting for right moment. Cause I'm very controlling and abusive. Seeing her left and knowing that might be the last time I see this person in my life might be one of the hardest thing to see in my life. Until very last moment I was almost just asking her to be honest with me and give this marriage some respect. She was greatest wife for 7 years. I don't understand how she could have changed in such short period time, and that until this day still leaves me with lots of confusion and questions. I know all the past and the love she had for me was real, but how could that just disappear like that? Shortly after she moved out I hired a lawyer and filed for divorce already. She said she doesn't want the bags I bought her, the house, cars or any spouse support or money, she just wants out. I don't really want to make this decision, but at the same time I can't afford her to change her mind, so I did that right away and already got the paperwork signed back to me. It has been 2 months since the day she told me she wants to divorce. I'm doing a lot better now and I'm trying to focus on myself for a new life and to be a better person. I know I'm not perfect and we didn't have a perfect relationship. But to run away from a marriage, go into relationship and now living together with this person in the time span for less than 2 months? I think the things hurt me the most was all the memories we have, all the things we built together and plans we had for future. Maybe I'll never understand why everything could just change in such a short period of time because she met a person and everything went down the drain. Recipe for failure. As I said though, if something doesn't make any sense at the end of marriage and you literally get everything, that means she feels you deserve it and that she's guilty. It's an acknowledgement that she herself knows you're not to blame even if she says so. Final update. Okay, I know it's not exactly 6 months from when I posted, but it has been almost 6 months since the day I thought my world collapsed. Our official marriage termination date is coming up, so I thought I would share some experiences on this journey of recovery. I have been really focused on myself and thriving in my life. Ever since this happened, I have been traveling around the world. Hawaii, Amsterdam, Vietnam, Taiwan, Australia, Norway, Germany, and I still have another trip planned to go Korea and maybe one more place that I don't know where yet. The job has been awesome and I think it is already well established. I don't have to worry about where I go or what I'm doing to do with my career. I have been hitting the gym 5 times a week, also eating well, trying out lots of new recipes while I'm cooking so I can expand my cooking profile. I also reconnected with lots of old friends and made some new friends. I have been looking for myself and trying to build a whole new life without letting my old life and memories trap me in the past. Do I miss her from time to time? It would be a lie if I say I don't. Do I still think about what happened or the things and dreams we had? Yes, I still do. I remember when I was in Oslo, where we always wanted to go, I took a picture and out of nowhere I thought of her. I didn't feel sad, it was just a weird moment that reminded me of her. First 2 months from the moment she told me she wanted to divorce till she came home, I found out she was already in relationship with this person. It was hell, I'm not gonna lie. But on my birthday in June I told myself it's the first day of my new life and I promised myself 1 year from that day. Looking back, I'll make myself proud. It has gotten a lot better and less frequently I would think about everything in my mind. Even when I do, it's not painful as it was. It took me a while to forgive myself and I even realized I have forgiven her, or even AP as well. I don't feel hate or anger towards them anymore. I actually wish them the best and their relationship goes well if this is what both of them wanted to pursue in their life. I had lots of hate, wished bad things on them, or just wanted their relationship blows up, but I realized how unhealthy that was and it was only holding me back from becoming a better person. At the end of the day, I also don't want that happen to anyone. I'm not perfect and there were things I could have done better in that relationship. I learned from that lesson, then move on. I also realized that the true acceptance of everything is nothing about her bothers me anymore. I feel somewhat normal now. I still don't know what future holds or what is going to be my new life goal yet. I know I'm already blessed with this case, that I still have my house, cars and all the savings/investment untouched, so I can easily plan on lots of things that I want to do. I have gone out with couple girls, but as of now I think keeping myself single for a while is healthier for me until I meet the right person, and I'm sure I'll know. Someone once told me this might seems to be the worst thing ever happened in your life at the moment, but it could lead to something end up being most wonderful to us. A bless in disguise, if you will. I was reflecting everything that has happened after she left. Emotionally I wasn't in a great place, but looking back, everything has happened ever since was actually all positive and bringing my life to a better direction. I hope this brings all of you some positivity, as we all need it to move on. If you will, the best revenge is a life well lived. Maybe one day she will see how you are doing, what you look like now you are hitting the gym hard, how well your life is going with your job and wealth, and then maybe she feels sad by seeing what she missed out on. Should not be your goal, ever, but it would be nice. One thing is bugging me regarding her wanting to be divorced as soon as possible, to remarry again. In the back of my mind I'm thinking she may be pregnant, and wants to be married before birth. Oh well, whatever, not your problem anymore. Keep up the good life, you are doing great.